Welcome to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the Love is Blind UK Season 2 reunion, followed by, if you're listening on podcast platforms right now, we have an interview with Javin at the back half of this episode. So after we break down the review or the reunion, we'll have our interview with Javin on the back half of the episode where he talks about his entire thing. We'll talk a little bit about that as we break down this episode. As always, joined by my podcast partner, Ashley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's crazy. So we're filming the reunion conversation after our conversation with Javin, which honestly probably my favorite interview I've done in a long time, especially in this reality TV space, and probably the best one we've done together, because I felt like he was. We saw a lot of what we saw out of the reunion out of him in this interview, right?
Yeah, for sure. I said this to him, and you're hearing me say this again. I definitely enjoyed this is my favorite of us together interviewing. Um, he gave us a lot of clarity on things, and I definitely have a different outlook on the whole situation.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting to see, and we'll dive a little bit more into that a little bit. But as we went into the reunion, obviously we didn't talk much about the wedding episodes, but obviously what we saw was three of the four couples got married. We had Cal and Sarover get married. We had Billy and Ashley get married. Kieran and Kieran and Megan get married, and then of course Barda and Jed split up at the altar with Bardas, the one being the one saying no. I'll be able to talk at some point during this episode. I don't know when it'll be, but um, we talked about this on the podcast. I really felt like Kieran and Megan were the only two that were going to end up married. And then, interesting enough, three of the four couples got married with Billy and Cal both saying yes. Did that shock you?
Yes. Did it not shock you? I was definitely shocked because I was like, none of these people are gonna get married.
Yeah, 100%. I was blown away that I was less surprised by Cal and Silver because I felt like there was a chance. But Billy and I thought Billy was 1000% a no. Like not even remotely close.
Me too.
Especially over the last batch of episodes, all he has talked about is being a no. You know what I mean? So it really shocked me to really see him unpack and be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say yes. So it was definitely interesting. And then we transitioned to holy cow. I don't even know where to begin, Ashley. The
What part?
first 3 minutes of the reunion, my jaw was proverbially on the floor when they looked at Sarover and said, "What is going on with your marriage?" She goes, "What married life?"
And I was sad for that. And I don't know, they need the way that they set up this reunion, they need to do for the US one. Give us the tea in the beginning and give us the happy ending.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the one big dynamic. Um, Billy. Yeah, Billy. Yeah, exactly. Billy should have not gotten married. I agree with that 100%. Cal was never into Sarah over. It's interesting to me because I was rooting for Cal in a dynamic because I always had that inkling. We talked about on the show that Cal should have never. His brother gave them doubts over and over and over and over and over again, but yet he still said yes. And she was like, 3 months later, he walked away. She broke down everything was basically rainbows and butterflies for a lengthy period of time. And on the 2nd of January, he said, it's over. There's no spark. We're very different people. She's more emotional, affectionate. And then it was over. That was
What
it.
is up what is up with them and the New Year's?
I don't know.
It's like new year, new me, like new relationship, or I'm ending this relationship. Like I don't listen, justice for Sorover, for sure.
Oh my God, yes. Like, I felt so bad with her. And then Cows is explaining nothing went wrong. They just aren't
BS.
right for each other. What?
Yeah, his explanation was pure BS. And like I don't know why he did that to her. And honestly, and her mom, I was like, go off, mom. I was like, go off. Get like she's like, I'm not done talking. And I don't blame her.
she gave him the business, and it made me actually genuinely excited because, you know, it really broke down in a way that I really enjoyed listening to her just go off because she's like, "Did you like?" It's to the point now. It's like, "Did you even really care?"
Exactly. Did you care this whole time? Like, that just made no sense. But to be honest, did we really think they would actually when they got married, I was shocked.
Yeah, and I want to jump ahead a little bit just because we'll skip over Barta and Jed, go back to Barta and Jed in a minute. But
Okay.
Billy and Ashley, that same boat, right? Around the same exact time. Like,
Didn't they say they had, like, a conversation? Like, they
y-
talked to each other, like,
they're
'cause,
having full ass conversation. Like, hey,
I
let's
mean,
compare.
like, Billy and Kale, didn't they have, like, a conversation? Like, "Hey, I'm not happy, you're not happy, let's just leave them." Like, what?
Right? I mean, they had like I'm just picturing this in my head. It's not real. It could be real, but we don't know. But they had like an iPhone note together, like breaking down the notes of what they were going to text. You know what I mean? Here's what you should say. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and, like, they should know better because girls, 2 and 2 women are gonna put 2 and 2 together. That's why Ashley and Sorova were able to look at each other's notes and say, "Hey, he kinda said the same thing to me."
yeah, I I'm disappointed in both Cal and Billy. I liked Billy. I really liked Billy. You
You
know what I mean?
did.
I really like Billy. I'm not some again, as I've said for weeks now. We both said for weeks. I didn't think that they should get married because the big elephant in the room. And then to find out, which is interesting, knowing in my head, we should have had these conversations, right? About how he would have, he would have been not been able to like see, he would have been deployed. You know what I mean? So he would have been missing just as much as she would by, with her job. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like it just, you know, I know, Ricky. Come on, what are you watching? My thing is this: is like I think that Billy isn't a bad person in a sense of he just needs somebody to be. It sounds crazy to say this,
In the
but he
same field as him?
maybe exactly maybe in the same field that marches to the same beat of his drum because of that. Because
Yeah.
if he has a certain way he likes to live his life and Ashley didn't fit in that bubble, Ashley deserves the world because she was all in on this man. And you can tell how emotional she was talking about everything. I think she was blinded by the experiment. I really feel like she was because there was warning signs out the wazoo.
No, for sure, you could definitely tell how hurt she was, and I feel like he just didn't care. Like, even last night, I felt like he didn't care. Like, even when she was talking and she was like, "No, I'm happy. Like, I'm gonna find love. It just wasn't with him." And he's like, "I'm glad. I'm glad." And I'm like, why are you treating her like this?
I agree 100%. You know what I mean? Like I liked Billy throughout the season, but in the reunion he came off very cold. And
Very cold.
I'll give a little bit of grace to the element of this happened, I think what 9 months ago. I think it would have been the top of this year. So 9 months ago. So it's like there's an element of like, I'm over this, but now I'm having to actually speak about it in front of the audience, and all of these things are coming to fruition in front of the whole world. You signed up for that one. But there's got to be a little bit more empathy. And I don't know, maybe, and that's where I think a big disconnect comes from Billy too, is emotionally, there's a stigma in that militarism of like, I'm a man, you know what I mean? I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know if there's that emotional level of getting it right. And again, coming from a guy that had been married before, there's a level of, and that's somebody for me, like somebody that had been, I had married, I got a divorce, you know what I mean, when I was young. I understand that element of it, but you want to get it right the second time. Like you didn't, like I just didn't understand the element of just being okay with that level. And to me it's like, and I agree with Dwayne said, Billy should have never came out of the pods with Ashley. I agree with that. Like the cabin, I forget what the hell the name is. What is it? What is her job?
Well, she's a,
I know
what
she
you were gonna say, cabin crew?
cabin crew. Yeah, yeah, yeah. His favorite word. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a stigma from the beginning, but understanding the element, I don't know how you forget about the military, how he'd be deployed, and how he would be gone for so long. So like it was both of them. You know what I mean? Not just her.
Yeah, I think Billy's gonna be single for a minute. I think
Yeah,
Billy's gonna be married to Billy.
yeah. Unless he finds somebody in the military that's for him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, um, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Jed revealed that in the moment he said he would have been I do. Do you believe him?
No,
I don't either.
no,
I didn't
no.
believe him either. I didn't believe
Mm-mm.
him either because the way that I looked at him, I didn't think he'd be. The thing about it is first off, Jed. We've talked about this before. Is 2025. If a woman wants to take a little bit of control of a dinner, of a situation, or whatever have you, let her do it. It's 2025. You don't have to be the man.
Old
You know what I
school.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a blend of that. Like there's moments where you can be that, but there's also time for you to take a step back if she wants to be that. Like their personalities always clashed. Also, Dwayne said something interesting. Cal's perfect woman is Barta, and I think I agree with that statement too. He
Ooh.
likes the blondes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm sure she's
Dwayne,
seen
you're
him on the
on to
show.
something.
I'm sure she's seen him on the show and was like hard pass. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I agree. Dwayne said that she's too dominant. I agree with that to an extent. The problem is it's something that has to be worked on over time because when you do for yourself for so long, it's hard to adapt to let other people's do for you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But you know, the interesting dynamic here is the ring situation. They broke up. They dated for a while. Now, his reasoning for to take off the ring made sense because it's like you can't be caught with a ring. You can't be because of the whole situation. Like then there are rumors. Then there's oh my god, he went on Love Is Blind. He's married. All of these things. But he asked her to remove the ring because of his ex girlfriend was there, and she would have. I don't know. This whole thing felt like one big
That's
lie.
yeah, it felt like one big lie. And also like I wouldn't have wore the ring. That's just me. Like
Yeah,
we're not together and we're kind of working on things. I'm not gonna still wear this ring.
I felt that was weird from her point of view too. She's like, I was wearing it for him, and I'm like, I don't know how. Again, I don't know how I felt about that. I don't really know how I feel about either one of you still. Like I've
Yeah, yeah,
been
for sure.
like interesting.
But I don't know. I
Um,
don't trust him. I don't know why, but I don't trust it.
yeah, I don't either. Let's see here. Obviously, Katisha, Javin, Sophie, Demila. We have this whole interesting dynamic of what happens here, and I just they should have never tried. I don't even know where to begin
Wait, who
because
should have never tried?
he was talking about Barta
Oh,
and
oh, oh.
Barta and Jed. My interesting thing about this was there was lots of clarity in what transpired. There's always a view from 1,000 feet that we get that we see that we don't get the whole breakdown. And I'm taking the element of this, obviously, our conversation with Javin already out of the equation as we're speaking about it. But as you're watching the reunion, you're seeing first off a Javin that was ready to come with receipts and conversations. What did you think about that entire event?
This is hard for me to answer because we literally just interviewed him. So it's like I didn't like the whole situation, but after speaking with him and hearing like his side of things, my perspective has definitely changed. Um, so yeah.
The photo booth, obviously, the clarity of the photo booth was one thing that didn't surprise anybody. You know what I mean? We knew that was coming. It was just like the cutie situation. Again, I've said about it before with Cole. I talked about it in our
Yeah.
podcast with Jasmine, where I said I hope that they show the photo booth. They did, and I will say this: Kieran acted very weird when they announced
Very
it. And
weird.
we talked about this in the interview, but like watching it, I was like, wait a minute. He's like, oh, what does it matter? What does it matter now? What does it matter
No,
now?
but it does matter because I feel like that was a big part of everyone saying like, "Oh, he did X, Y, and Z in the photo booth." Like, it matters.
Yeah. Again, when Ash, let's put you in the point. It will put you in a spot. If you find out
Okay.
that your man is over here in the photo booth and the thing was closed, what's the first thing that's going to go to your mind is not a
I'm
fight.
crash yeah.
A
I'm
fight's not the first
crashing
thing.
out. I'm crashing out. Like, yeah, like what?
Yeah,
It's not yeah, especially with the curtain closed, it
right.
makes a huge difference. That's like being in the room with somebody with the door closed and the door open. Like, come on now.
Exactly. You know what I
No,
mean?
but
Like,
Kiernan really like he tried to backtrack so bad, and he's like, "Oh, no, it matters."
yeah, it did matter. And to me, Demolo spoke up. Good for him. Obviously, he's almost America's sweetheart now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He seems like a good lad. Um, Also, Sophie, I I don't really know. Like Katisha came at Sophie, which listen, typically I'm for the belief of you go after the man, not the person, right? You know what I mean? Like he's the one cheating on you, or he's the one having this conversation. However, Sophie isn't just a random girl on the street that doesn't know the experiment. She knows the experiment. You know what you're doing. Um, we'll never know what the fight was about. Apparently, we found that out. But how did you feel like Katisha eventually apologizes to Sophie as well? But how did you
She
feel about
shouldn't
this one?
have.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know why Katisha apologized to Sophie. Um, Sophie was on some shady. She was being shady. Like I didn't like that at all. And I agree with what you said. Like normally, go to the man, don't go to the woman. But in this predicament, it's understandable. Like they spent how many weeks together or whatever days together in the pod X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that to me is that one's to me is interesting, to say the least. Not really surprised, obviously, them to not Katisha needs help. That's why there's a level of how Javin's personality comes off a certain way. You know what I mean? And I even talked to him about that. Right? We talked to him about that and saying, hey, like this is who he is as a person. There's and it was obviously spliced together. There's elements of that where we find out that their conversation of the giddiness and the laughter and all of what we saw as parts of everything, which obviously just ramps up the drama. But yeah, I'm not, they really don't speak, which we also kind of find out that is not necessarily true. And we'll explore that in our conversation that you'll hear on the back half of this episode. Or if you're watching here on YouTube right now live, or at some point, the interview with Javin will go live tonight. You'll be able to watch that, which I highly recommend checking out. Um,
Such a good interview.
Patrick apparently addressed being a father. He is a father, I guess. He did have a baby, which does not necessarily mean he didn't have to go on the show. Maybe he didn't know about, knocking somebody up or whatever, but good for Spleen Boy. And Kieran and Megan, the only couple that probably should have got married and are still together.
I love them together. Like they are too cute. The little video montage they put together was so cute, and I was like, and I love his new look. I told you as soon as we got on here today, before we went live, I was like, "Kid, it looks good. He got a good glow up."
Yeah, yeah, he got wifed up and glowed up. You know what I mean? It was
Yes.
it was just like Garrett a little bit, but much better looking. For me, I say this over and over again, but I love the UK more than I do the US version. I do think that most of them are there for the right reasons. And even the willingness to get married, to get divorced anyway, is one of the things that I think that they're scared to, because even Billy's, I'm going to say yes in hopes that it works. It didn't work. They got divorced. Getting a divorce sucks, but taking that leap of faith is not easy to do, and I think that shows the levity of wanting to be on this on the experiment and the authenticity of the experiment, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And yes, the UK is definitely become my favorite. I don't know, they just seem a little bit more vulnerable. Um, you can tell like who's there, like you can tell they're really there to find love and not just like, you know, trying to be on the show. And yeah, no, I can't I heard them say last night there would be a season 3, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Emma and Matt Willis, that's the couple that
I
host
love
the
them.
show. Yeah, they're fantastic. I like them a lot as well. But yeah, that's basically the reunion in a nutshell, right? You know what I mean? I again, I like this season. We're in a little bit of a dead spot, right? You know what I mean? We have some interesting dynamics coming up. Did you see the Dancing with the Stars cast was more or less confirmed?
No, I didn't.
Um,
Tell me.
let's see here. Oh my God, I have a picture of it somewhere. It's on my phone, but
Are we watching Dancing with the Stars?
I don't know.
I haven't watched in years.
No, but the only people that I really enjoyed that Rob and uh Dylan Efron are going to be on, which I found funny.
Oh,
So
really? Oh,
yeah.
maybe I might have to watch.
Yeah. Where is it at? There was a picture somewhere floating around the internet that I thought was funny. But yeah, it was Grant's gonna be on there from The Bachelor. I don't really care about him.
Mm.
No offense. But yeah, Spencer Pratt's gonna be on there. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of
Spencer?
people.
Oh, wow, good for him.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Is today the 1st, right?
Today's the 1st. Love Island game starts on the 16th.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from that, and then we're a week away from Special Forces, and then we're literally a month from today. Love is Blind US returns. So, lots of craziness. Obviously, we know Love Island Games is going to be recorded live. We're not going to Love Island USA season 7 is put in the past and it's put to bed. I never want to hear about any of these people ever again. But any parting ways, any parting notes before obviously podcast listeners will transition into our interview with Javin.
Stay
Otherwise,
for the interview. It's so good, guys. Javin definitely just puts things to rest. It was a really, really good interview.
yeah. So if you're listening here on YouTube channels, it'll be live tonight. If you're watching tomorrow, it means it's already up. So all of those fun details. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back very soon for some more podcast.